tonight, eh?
Milo, is that you?
There, I think I got it.
Okay.
Did you hit the button yet?
All right, I've hit the button, so go for it.
In our discussion, if you look at my phone, which camera is facing you on my phone? The back camera or the front camera?
Dang. I would have to say that's a tough one.
All right,
It's the front camera.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Now, what am I looking at here? Which part of my phone is this?
That's your screen.
Yes. So which side of my phone is it?
I guess that's the front of the screen. The front of the phone. Yep.
The front of the phone. So if my camera up here is on the front of my phone, which camera would that be?
That would be the back-facing phone camera.
there you go.
I mean, unless you're Lionel.
There's no hope for this world.
That's unless you're Lionel, because then it's the only camera you care about.
Yeah, that's true. That you know what? He's actually got that could be an exception to the
Very
rule.
close. I would say a lot of time that's true, but there you do shoot some quality stuff otherwise.
But you're right. Yeah, I think I have to agree with you on this one, Bruce, because I'm not sure. I think I'm struggling with the whole decade thing. Not because I'm not saying you're wrong, but what I'm trying to figure out is, like, when you're born, that first year you get to the end of one. You get to the end of the first year, and that's like 1 year.
Yeah. The problem is when you start throwing years into the whole equation.
Yeah.
Because the whole decade concept is pretty simple. Like, after 10 years, the years is, 1 to 10 is the first decade. But now you start throwing in, like, we're into the 20s now, because, 20, 21. So, technically, yes, it's the start of the decade of the 20s. But it's not the start of the decade. That's the second decade into the 2000s. So
what about if the AML Nation just went off?
It's at least a 3 beer question.
Well, yeah, it's at least 3 beers or 5, 3 or 5.
Yeah, well, depending on what you're drinking.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're drinking American beer, could be 5 or 6.
Yeah,
a couple Canadian beers would do it.
When we go to the AML dinner,
yes,
I feel as though you should probably drive home.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got a feeling.
You got a feeling?
Yeah, lately I've been. I just have that feeling.
You can always Uber it.
Well, exactly. We could Uber it. Yeah. So what are we here for? Oh, and Ron Kleiss is here. Ron Kleiss, that sounds like nice.
Yes.
Good evening, guys.
And he's just dropped into the studio.
He just wandered down the street, and I knocked on the window, and he came in.
So you know what I thought would be a really good idea? This is actually going to be one of our podcasts that I'm going to broadcast. I'm a poet and don't know it.
Wow.
I thought I would broadcast this maybe like on the Friday before Springfield.
Right.
So that we could talk to Ron about going to, because this will be his first time at Springfield as a vendor.
Wow, there you go.
With his own booth and everything. So I thought it might be kind of fun to talk to him about it before we get there. And then, of course, when I'm there, I will walk up to him and say, "Hey, Ron, you got a couple of minutes?" And then he'll say, "Hey, kid, don't bother me."
Yeah. You're getting in the way to paying customers.
Yeah.
Go away, kid. I'm selling kits here.
Yeah. Go away, kid. Bob,
go away, little boy. I'm selling kits.
I always go and talk to Bob Frischella, and he's always busy selling his artwork. But
he's an amazing artist, too.
He is an amazing artist, but he always talks to me anyways. Yeah. So do you think he'll talk to me at Springfield, Ron? Or?
Absolutely.
All right.
I have my wife and daughter to watch the booth. I can just walk away and hang out at City Classics or wherever on the hot dogs.
Oh, then you got to be the guy. You've at least got to be the guy taking the photo, because that's a tradition now.
It is, yes. I got the extra long arms.
Yeah. And what are you 5'9", 5'10", something like that?
More like 6'5".
Yeah, something like that. And I don't think we've ever used a selfie stick, have we?
Yeah, we have.
Oh, have we? All right, I'll make sure I bring my selfie stick. One year I think you had to do it with your arm, and one year we did it with our selfie stick.
Yeah, because the one selfie stick was a little wonky.
That's right, too. We had a wonky selfie stick.
Oh, I hate it when that
Oh,
happens.
I know, eh?
Like a wonky stick.
There's
Yeah.
nothing like
I
working.
hate it when your selfie stick is wonky. Yes.
All right, so now I'm looking at the mind mount. So okay, so I thought that we would broadcast this. Let me look at the big calendar on the wall. I'm not promising anything, Ron. So like, don't hold me to this. But I got to.
Wait a second. My agent said this was definitely the Friday before Springfield, Ohio.
Yeah, Spring.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's
Is there another Springfield show?
Well, how about this, Ron? Would you prefer it to be broadcast on the Friday the 17th of January or Friday the 24th of January?
Well, see, I think 24th, a lot of people will be traveling already. 17th, if you do it then, more people have an opportunity to hear it before the big show.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And we're doing this as a product news, except we don't have Tony Cook, editor of Model Railroad News, because
the dulcet tones of Tony Cook.
The dulcet tones of Tony Cook, because he's under the weather.
Oh no!
Yeah, severely under the weather. So I'm quite annoyed at him for that. And I actually have been calling him, trying to call him every day, and like, come on, make sure you're looking after yourself.
Make sure Bandit's taking care of you there.
Yeah, exactly. I think we need to build an AML compound so we can all live together in the desert or something.
There you go.
So, okay, Ron, how long have you been doing mind mount models?
Just officially over a year. October 8th, 2018. We opened up to the public. And
how do you feel it's gone in your first year?
It's had its ups and downs, but for the first year, we pretty much broke even. I think it was pretty successful. I'm still the new kid on the block. I'm getting the word out there. With every kit, I get more and more followers. I just passed 1,000 followers and likes and everything on the Mind Mount Model Facebook page. Gradually growing the Instagram page, and it seems like it's doing pretty well. I'm loving the feedback I'm getting from everybody that has got the kits and has them in their hands. So that's very positive. It keeps me going.
All right. So what kind of feedback are you getting that you're loving? Like everybody just is really happy with the kits?
It seems like it. I mean, the one thing that is blowing my mind is the directions, because to me, writing directions, it's like doing a school report every time, and it's like it's like pulling teeth for me.
Yeah.
And I was so worried, especially the first one, that tiny little kit, and the page, the directions I think were 4 pages long or something like that. I was stressing over those, and people are like, "Oh no, the directions are good." And then the bigger kits came out, and I mean, the one kit had a 34-page directions, and it was like an epic journal, a novel, and people are just like, "No, I mean, the thing that is catching people's eyes are all the color photographs that I put into it, because it's hard to convey something in words when a picture can do it, and
oh yeah,
very easily."
So are these are printed directions, I'm assuming?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then you put in a bunch of color photographs and stuff like that. So yeah, yep. Like directions are like number one. I mean,
if you don't have the good directions, then people have a box full of sticks and sheets of wood and stuff, and they could look at it all day and try and figure out where it goes. But if the directions are pretty concise and tell you exactly what to do, then it makes it a more enjoyable process for the people to build.
And so, how many kits have you sold so far?
I don't have an exact number. My most popular ones would be Skips, which was my first one. That's a good small kit at a great price. It's only $25. Randy's, that hot rod auto repair shop.
Yeah,
that's my most popular one. That struck a nerve with a lot of people. I'm really surprised that is doing really well. And it's not coming off the website ever. I mean, my kits will just be up there forever, from as far as I can see. Some people are so used to these limited run boxcars, limited run engines, even limited run kits from some manufacturers, and I'm like, I put all this work into it. I just want it out there and just sell it as long as possible. So
yeah, for your kits like Randy's and the Paulser's Plumbing and your new one Sunrise, where do you get those great vehicle models?
They're all over the place. There's metal die cast. There are some. Walmart had a few different ones that I snagged a bunch and years ago. They would have these cases. I'm not sure how they got these prices, because I guess because it's Walmart, but it would be all 187 scale models, and it was just like some no name brand, but they looked great, and they would be only like $5 maybe. And I snagged a bunch of those. Sometimes I'll go down to the local hobby shop. They still do exist, people, and snag some vehicles there. But they're all different brands. There's not exact brands.
And yeah, I see you're using Mount Albert scale lumber for the wood, eh?
Yep. Tim Waris is pumping out the good stuff.
I know, eh? Man, yeah, someday if you ever get the chance to go up there and visit with Tim to see him making the wood. And yours truly has many piles of scraps in his garage that he uses for his fireplace. So
there you go.
So I could have some scraps of wood that has been made, but it has been sent to Mind Mount Models. It was so there you go. So we have a connection. Like the AML and Mind Mount Models are one and the same almost.
That was probably that wonky piece that kind of had a bend curve to it.
Yeah.
Went off to the left there.
Yeah, exactly. So you got in 1 year, you've got a lot of kits. I mean, that's like, are you like up every night till like 3 a.m. kind of thing?
No, I usually go till about 11 because I got to get up early. I'm up at 5, so I'll go till 11 and settle myself down.
So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. I'm going to go back to the main page.
I'm at 5 main kits, and then I have some accessories that I've been putting out. When I did the Palzer plumbing, I made up a pipe rack and decided to put that out as a separate little accessory kit. And then also some stockade fence that was included in Randy's. I put that as a separate kit also, or accessory, like scenery element type thing. And then with the new kit, I'm coming out with loading docks, and then it also has a jib hoist that's included in the Sunrise warehouse. So I'm going to put those out as separate kits. And then I also came up to build the loading docks for Sunrise. I made up this jig to hold all the little joists and everything in the vertical position while you glue on the horizontal decking and stuff.
Right.
So I'm going to be putting out that jig also, or assembly fixture, as Fast Tracks likes to call them, assembly fixtures. And
didn't you have something to do with brick walls or something too? Wasn't there?
I was doing the textures. It wasn't getting a good response, and plus it also takes a long time to engrave on the laser, so it was eating up a lot of laser time. So I said, you know what, I'll take it off the website for now. So live and learn.
Well, sure, exactly. I mean, it must be a total, like, have you had anybody in the industry help you out, or have you been kind of flying blind all by yourself?
No. Actually, with the Craftsman Structure guys, they're a great bunch of guys. One guy that helped me out a lot, I would have questions, and I just throw questions out to him, was Jeff Grove from Carolina Craftsman Kits.
Right.
He's a great guy. You should try and get him as an interview. He's funny. He's a good guy. Mark Schreier from Foggy Mountain, he's a good guy. I talked to him. I was actually at a show at the end of October. It was my first official show down in Timonium, Maryland, and that went really well. And, really got to meet all the guys face to face. I've talked to them at Springfield over the past couple of years, but, to hang out as a vendor at the show and, go to the dinners with them and everything, it was a really cool experience. I'm looking forward to Springfield coming up.
That's cool. So, yeah.
I've got a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Which is probably kind of a key question. Where do you get your inspiration?
All over the place.
You're just driving around. You say, look at that. Or
actually,
you sit bolt upright in the middle of the, 2 a.m. Go, wow, or.
Yeah, all over the place. The first kit I did was strictly my imagination. That's probably why it was a simple box. And then Palzer's Plumbing is actually based off of a building that is about a block and a half from my house. And I always drove by it for years going, that's a pretty cool looking building. That'd be a neat kit. And when my model started up, I said, I'm making it a kit. And it's actually about the same exact size as the real prototype building. Randy's is based off of a garage. I was driving through the backwoods in South Jersey, which is ill-advisable by yourself, especially at night. And I saw this building. I was like, man, that's a pretty cool looking garage. It was all old and run down and stuff. And I went back, took some videos and pictures and everything. And when I was ready for another kit. I'm like, I'm going to make that garage. I want to make a auto repair speed shop type thing. And the original one was actually what you see as Randy's, the kit, but to the right side actually was another 3-bay, like center block garage to that side, but it would have been way too big. I wanted to make more of a medium-sized kit. So I took off that center block, 3-bay garage part of it. I might actually make that as an extension or something like that available maybe in the future. And then the Sunrise that just came out, that was kind of a mishmash of a bunch of things. There's a car shop down the road from my work. It's like a detail shop type place. And I always liked the roof lines of that. And then my son was playing a couple video games, and there's some buildings in there. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool looking little feature. So I take some of that and mushed it in there. So it was that Sunrise is a combination of a bunch of different inspirations.
Yeah, I guess with these kits, they don't have to always be based on a prototype. They can be something that you just kind of have in your head and away you go, like making a song.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even with the, I do have an exact prototype one, that C&O motor car shed. And that's an exact replica of the C&O motor car shed in Hinton, West Virginia. Because I had a friend that models C&O. He said, oh, I need this building. So I designed it. He asked me about it on Wednesday. He emailed me or something. So then Wednesday, I researched it. Thursday, I drew it up. Friday, I cut it out. And Saturday, I went to a operating session at his house, and it was just the basic like cardboard mock-up. I said, is this what you're looking for? And he said, how the hell did you do that so quick? And I said, I happened to find some blueprints, drawings and stuff online, so that helped and sped the process up. And then I ended up making it into an official kit.
And so you must have to have some sort of ability to do drafting or whatever on the computer, eh?
Yep. I was originally using AutoCAD, and that was a learning curve because I never used it. I briefly looked at it while I was at work. And then that's what took, even though it was a small kit, the Skips Bait and Tackle, it was a small kit. That was me learning the process and trying to figure out all the little intricacies. Ooh, that's a lot of syllables there.
Yeah.
Now I know how you feel. Of learning the AutoCAD, because what a lot of these guys use is AutoCAD or even just Corel Draw, and they draw basic boxes. But the ability of AutoCAD, I'm only using maybe like 1 or 2% of what this thing can do, and it's pretty powerful piece of equipment. And it was fun. Now I got everything. I'm pretty much understanding that process of drawing the structures up pretty good.
So you've had a steep learning curve in your first year, getting kits built, learning to write instructions, learning AutoCAD. And by the way, in case you didn't know, CAD stands for computer aided design.
I thought it was cats and dogs. Damn, jeez. I learned something new.
Yeah, there you go. And that comes directly from Lex Parker, who has a beautiful Denver and Rio Grande layout.
I would love to get up to his place and see that.
Oh, it's spectacular.
It's beyond spectacular. It is beyond spectacular.
The pictures you see out there don't do it justice.
Yeah, it is it's like going to George Celios' place, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Only an O scale, which is just absolutely.
I love like operating an O scale, just the weight and stuff of it.
Yeah,
it's cool. If I had the space.
I had a dream last night that I built an O scale shelf layout.
There you go.
Yeah, so maybe that's why maybe that's how I ended up cutting my finger with the X-Acto knife. Where I took it to bed with me. So I don't think I want to keep this relatively short, but I never do, so that doesn't really matter. But I don't think we should, Bruce. And I need you to help me figure out the questions to ask here, because I feel like you've accomplished an awful lot in a year. Like it seems like building Palzer's. Is it Palzer's? Is that how you say it?
It's Palzer's. Like he's my best pal.
Okay, Palzer's.
Palzer. It's Palzer's.
All right.
You know what? As long as you buy it, I don't care what you call it. It's like Cato and Kato.
Yeah, exactly.
If you plunk down to 175 bones, you can call it what you want.
Yep.
And do people balk at all at the price? Because everything in today's the national anthem of model railroading is how everything is so expensive. So $175 for a structure. Do they balk at that at all?
I mean, I'm sure there's some people like, holy cow. And then other people, the guys that do the craftsman structure kits understand that there's a lot of work that goes into it. I'm not mass producing it with, injection molded plastics and sending all my work over to China.
Right.
I mean, if I figured that out, then maybe I could get the prices down. But to justify all the work and everything that goes into it, and you also get a lot of stuff in the kits.
Right.
There's a lot of materials. There's a lot of castings and custom, like all the shingles and stuff that I design and all the accessories that go with it. And, it's a lot of stuff. So
I think compared to what you see out there for other craftsman kits, you're in the ballpark. It's you got like I say, you got to realize this is it's not just some guy doing it for the fun of it. He's trying to do it, make some money at it, and he's got time and effort involved. And you're going to spend money to get a quality product.
And
plus, the way I see it is that when you buy a kit, and Paulser's and the new one, the Sunrise Warehouse, they're big kits, and they're going to take a lot of time. And if you take that amount of money and divide it by the amount of hours that you're going to be putting into it, it ends up not being that much.
yeah.
So, I mean, like even Randy's is a medium-sized kit, and that's only $50. But you still get a lot of stuff, and you're going to get hours of enjoyment out of that thing.
Well, sure, absolutely. And I wasn't saying it as in, oh my God, this is overpriced. I'm saying it more as in, I kind of admire this kind of stuff because it's what you end up with is well worth the trouble. And I was just wondering in general, like, do you get a lot of people going, it's $175? Because I think it's worth it, and it's a business model that works. That George Selio's proved for years that works. That if you give out a quality product with lots of details, it's well worth the money.
Yeah, and if it's still, they're like, well, man, it's a little steep. I steer them toward Randy's, or I steer them toward Skips, or hey, look at this fencing. Buy the fencing for $15.
Well, sure, and that's the thing. You've got it everything from low end stuff. The fencing and skips and and I'm sure you have in your head. It looks like what you have in your head is you're going to continue to provide a wide range of pricing, so everybody has a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just talking to my wife about that. The iPhone's great, and I use the calendar like crazy to keep track of all the crazy stuff that's happening. But when it comes to something like this, I'm trying to plan out when I want to get kits done and when I have to have them come out. I like to have a visual on the wall, so I'm actually going to break down and get a wall calendar and go highlight however many weeks it will take to design and build and make the packaging and everything for a new kit, and try and lay out at least the next year or so of how I want things to come out, and try and make it fall before certain holidays and stuff like that. And that's one thing that I was thinking about just before 2020 is happening. Like I gotta definitely nail down some dates of when things are going to be coming out, because before in the past I was doing it and without a date for me, without a set date on a calendar, I might lax a little bit. So in my eyes, what you're saying is, oh, you got a lot done in 1 year. But in my eyes, I'm sitting there going, damn, I could have done a lot more kits. And, getting a schedule down, I think will drive me to do that.
Yeah. We've thought about being organized here too. Hey, Bruce?
Yeah, we had that notion and figured there was no hope in hell. So
yeah, we
kind of gave up.
Yeah, we did it for a morning, and then we thought,
yeah,
it's just just doesn't work for us. But yeah, okay. But I mean, still, I'm impressed with the amount of, like you have some companies that they get started and guys will put out 1 or 2 kits, but you're going to go to Springfield and you're going to have something to show people on your display table. So that's pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah. No, I'm like I said, I'm trying to get the packaging done and last little quick short directions for these 2 or 3 extra accessories that I'm getting out too. So I'll have those at the Springfield show too.
And what building are you going to be in?
The Better Living Center.
Wow.
Smack dab right in the middle. You know where Scale Trains is?
Yeah.
I'm going to be right across from Scale Trains.
How'd you manage that?
Well, here's the great thing. Is the show down in Timonium, a bunch of the craftsman structure guys got together and they're like, say, instead of having us spread all over the place, let's kind of concentrate all of our efforts and put it into one area. And they came up with this craftsman courtyard idea. And it was kind of debuted for officially down in the Timonium, Maryland show back in October. and it seemed like it went really well. So instead of having each one of us kind of like over there, over here, and all the different buildings like in Springfield, it was about maybe 20 of us all gathered in one area and made this courtyard type of area. And so, Railroad Kits from Jimmy Dignan and Jeff from Carolina Craftsman Kits and Doug Fiscali from Foscale Models and Motrack Models, and they're all getting together, and they've been centralized kind of in the Better Living Center over the past few years, right near Scale Trains. So when they asked me, "Hey, do you want to be in the courtyard for Springfield?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!"
Yeah.
So I'm smack dab right in the middle of the Better Living Center.
Well,
might as well go big when I go there for the first time, right?
Well, absolutely.
Exactly.
That's cool. So, how many of you got? So, I'm sorry. Did you say how many manufacturers will be in this? That's a great idea. What's his name? John Sacerdoti. He must have thought it was a great idea too.
Yeah, I think they really like worked hard to try and make everybody fit. I mean, there was a bunch of guys there over the past few years. There's best trains, like they have all those metal castings and stuff, and I think it's going to be probably about 15 of us in one area.
That's cool. That's very, very cool. Man. And then you guys will get a chance to chat with each other. You'll draw people to it too, because the people will, rather than having to look all over the property, they're all going to be able to come right to the Craftsman Kit corner. And I mean, yep. I'm sure you're not going to have everybody there, but you're going to have a lot of the guys.
Yeah, and it seems like it's growing. We'll see. This is the second official time they're doing it, and then in February, I think they're having another version of it in Timonium again. Timonium's going to have another show in February. I think it's mid-February. I forget the exact dates. I'm not going to be able to make it to that one though.
How come? What's happening?
Regular life and work is going to get in the way. Yeah, at the end of February, on February 29th, I'm actually going to be doing a make and take for the local NMRA division. They were asking me because they wanted to try and promote people doing Craftsman kits and building, wood structures and stuff, because it seems to intimidate a lot of people. And they see what I'm doing with some of the smaller kits, and they're like, "Hey, would you be willing to give a how-to of how it is, how things are made?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." You know what? My daughter's locked outside. Why don't you play a little elevator music, and I'll be back in about 5 seconds. Hold on.
That's a first.
Yeah, it is.
Hold on.
Usually it's the guests that wander the studio.
Yeah.
But no, she's literally locked out of the house.
Yeah, I guess you and I are going to have to try to be entertaining for a minute.
Well, we can do that.
Yeah, I made chocolate cake today.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right, I'm back.
Oh, he's back.
Wow. Okay. That didn't take long.
Well, the door is right there, but the banging was getting louder and the doorbell started going.
and she's going to be working for you at Springfield, so you got to make sure you keep her happy.
Absolutely. She's the money woman. She had her little pouch and had all the change and the money, so I don't want to upset her.
Oh, okay, so she went with you to Timonium then?
Yeah, my wife and her, and she was excited. She's excited to go now too.
Oh, that's cool. That's fun. It's fun that you're having fun with it. It sounds like it's been basically a roaring success right from the get-go.
Yeah, I've been excited. I mean, there's sometimes I'm like, oh boy, this is a lot of work. I mean, sometimes I just want to get home from my regular day job right now and kind of take a break, which I do sometimes, but I really want to kind of get these kits out. So I'll put a few hours at night to get these things going. And then hopefully it becomes a full-time gig.
Yeah, that's your plan eventually, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
All right, so let's get right to the root of the matter then. My favorite question. You're a regular listener to the podcast. Let's get right to the root of the matter then. You've started a company. You've been going for a year. You've got 6 or 7 kits, 5 or 6. How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus a couple of accessories. So you got 5 solid kits. Is the hobby growing or dying or shrinking or disappearing into the sunset? What's happening?
I think it's growing, and I think that, like what you're saying with the internet, there's going to be goo dripping all over us soon. I mean, it's starting to ooze out. When I post things on the different social medias, and I'll put up some videos here and there of the new kits and stuff, and just the responses that I'm getting, and from what I see from the analytics and stuff from YouTube's and from Facebook ads that I run. It seems to be pretty solid. I mean, I haven't been in the business to have year over year over year type of responses and seeing how things are affected, but just from what I hear from people out there, I really think it's strong.
Yeah.
I don't see it going anywhere. It's definitely not going anywhere. I don't see it shrinking. I mean, certain aspects of it might be shrinking.
Sure.
Print versions or something like that might be, turning to more digital.
Yeah.
I heard Joe Fugate talking about that on your podcast today. I was driving around and listening to that one, and he's saying that it's people are looking for more digital stuff, which I can understand. I mean, I get most of my information from some kind of digital, YouTube thing, or even words stuff that a blog or something like that is going to be right on my phone because it's right there in my pocket.
Yeah,
I can just look it up and see what I want to say. Hey Siri.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and if even just looking at your website, which is let me get it right. It's simply mindmountmodels.com. Mine as in MINE, mount as in MOUNT, and models as in MODELS. It's all one word, mindmountmodels.com. If you go to that website, I mean, you got a couple of how-tos here already about random stone painting and cedar shake. Say that 5 times really fast. And then you got your customer gallery there. People.
Yeah. I'm hoping more and more people submit more photos.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of response. I handwrite a letter to everybody on their receipt when I mail it out saying, hey, thank you for the purchase. I'm excited. And I say, please share your pictures, whatever, on our website. You can go to our Facebook page. I have no problem. I'll put them up there. So, yeah.
Well, that's a cool idea. Making a real connection with your patrons.
Yep.
Oh, that's a cool idea. You must be pretty excited about this whole thing in general.
Sure. I mean, how excited are you to do the podcast?
Well, yeah, but of course that's just because I want to hear the sound of my own voice.
Well, I enjoy Bruce's more, but
no, that's the thing. That I've had more fun in the hobby in the last 5 years being involved with it, with the podcast, than I probably did in the 45 years previous to it, because of the amount of connection you can make with everybody now. I mean, you and I met through podcasting, and now we're following along on your thing, and I get to interview you, and I mean the whole thing. I think the hobby's I literally think the hobby's going to explode, and we're all going to be covered in model railroad goo. I have no idea which direction it's going to go, but trust me, the community's going to grow like crazy. Sure,
the electronics are going to be big. I mean, that's just a given. And with the DCC and just the sound decoders, I mean, some of these sound decoders, what they can do now is insane. And then the scenery material, I love doing the dioramas for my displays, and the scenery material that I going through Scenic Express, their show booths and stuff. That's like heaven.
Yeah,
and it's unbelievable some of the quality and how the type of scenery that you can get. I mean, you can get like trees and bushes and just all. It's incredible. And
it so happens Scenic Express is but a quick stroll away from where you're going to be at the show.
Yeah, it's good. I'll probably send all my my profits over to them.
Well, and last night we were interviewing what were we talking? Oh yeah, we were doing fans of the podcast. By the way, while we're talking right now, we're going to go way off track. So today, a couple of people. Yeah. Yeah. Hang on.
Wow.
Grab onto something.
I am. I'm sitting down. I've just. Do I need to go grab some more heart meds?
No, I think you'll be all right.
Okay. Just a 5-point harness.
Yeah, 5-point harness. Yeah, put on the AML 5-point harness.
Okay, got it. They're all buckled in.
Yesterday we released, or today we released, Fans of the Podcast number 10. And that was the one where Ralph and Bruce and everybody was arguing about what is the front and the back of the camera. And a couple of people were complaining to me about that. And I'm thinking, that's the best part of the whole hobby, is the fact that we get to talk about everything. And so then in that podcast, we were also talking about Martin Welberg. I think you brought that up, Bruce. Somebody brought that up about Martin Welberg.
Yeah, that was last night we were going through because I had posted a link to his website on the fans page.
Yeah.
And he's doing outstanding stuff.
Incredible stuff.
So you know of him, do you, Ron?
I know of him. I haven't met him.
No, I know, but he's from Europe. He's from AU.
Yeah, there was a guy that was at the Timonium show. He had a really cool model, and just prior to the show, they had a model competition at the Craftsman Courtyard. It was really cool. This guy, I think it was Craig Brotman, brought in this model, and Welberg actually came to his house and showed him how to use all his different products and stuff. And when I saw his model that he presented for one of the competitions, I was like, oh my God. And I was talking to him about Martin's products, and he's like, yeah, he does it all by hand. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he actually does all that stuff by hand.
Wow. Well, that's crazy. That's crazy. Well, do you have any more questions? Ron, did we cover everything?
No, I just have one more question.
Okay, go for it.
One more question. First time to Springfield. What are you expecting?
I'm expecting lots of crowds, lots of shaking babies and kissing hands, and just getting the word out there. Just that when I went to Timonium, I told my wife, if I don't sell a kit, I'd be okay. Yes, I do want to sell kits, but I just wanted to get my name out there and get the word out there and let people know. Because again, I'm still the new kid on the block. People haven't even heard of me yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm just looking to just soak in the crowds and just say hi to everybody and hopefully sell some stuff.
Yeah, and you will sell some stuff because you must have I'm sure you have beautiful displays for each kit, don't you?
I think I enjoy it. That's my outlet for the modeling part of it because I can't work on my layouts right now. I mean, my layouts have just been collecting dust. And so my outlet to scratch that itch is the dioramas that I do for my display. So I go hog wild on these things. And I probably overdo it because some guys just do the buildings and then take a picture of the building against a white background. But I want to show people what it could look like in a scene.
Yeah.
And again,
and to me, that's a key thing. If you go to a show and see a model put in a realistic setting, like you're showing on your website, to me, that's a lot better than, just sitting there on a plain piece of plywood. And here's my, if you show them how it can be done and how it will look in a finished situation, that's a long way to go in to sell that kit.
And it grabs the eye, and it's the wow factor.
Yep.
And then people were coming up to me in Timonium going, wow, how'd you do that? How'd you do that? And I have no problem. There are no secrets on how to do it. I will tell you anything on how I do the modeling and the scenery or the paint or anything. I have no problem with it. I'm not keeping it close to to the chest or anything like that. I want it out there. I want people to enjoy the models, build it. That's why I do those how-tos, those mind mount minutes on my website, is I want to show people how I achieve some of this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I don't think there's any advantage to keeping the secrets of how you construct this stuff to yourself anyways. It's not a competition. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it's just like some guys are like, oh no, I'm sorry, I can't tell you that. Well, why not? It's not,
Yeah, it's not
special seasonings or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's not, and we're not at Daytona here running the 500, and we don't want that guy to find out how we're going a tenth of a second faster.
Although you may need a restrictor plate sometimes, but
yeah. I think my entire life should be on a restrictor plate, but I've had more than my share of fun, so that's good. So is there anything else you wanted to say, Ron? I mean, I'm happy to talk more or whatever, but, like I said, I think we'll do this as product news, although I feel a little funny doing product news without Tony. So have we covered everything you feel like you wanted to cover, or was there anything in particular you wanted to say, or?
No, I want people to keep model railroading and enjoy the hobby, get out there and share it, or, you could stay in your basement and build whatever makes you happy. And I want you to go to mindmountmodels.com and see what I got to offer.
Yeah.
Hopefully you do it.
So, okay, I got a question for you, and here I am asking the questions. So this is kind of interesting, I think, because I was pretty fascinated by Pulsar's Plumbing Supply. If it's Paul, it should be a U in there. I'm telling you right now. Pulsar's Plumbing Supply, that must be a pretty long, drawn-out process to build the first one. Do you build one completely and then you write the instructions, or because it's Like it's the very first time you've built it? Are you taking pictures as you go along, or what's the process? Like I would think for me, I'd build one completely, then I'd build another one where I took pictures, or because it's the first time it's ever been made. It's
It's usually I'll design it, and I try and keep it. Now the more I do it, the more I can keep track of how things are going to fit together in the future. Like how things will come together, pieces of wood and being 1/16 of an inch off or whatever. It's getting a little more easy because I've made the mistakes in the past. But I'll draw the thing in AutoCAD, cats and dogs, and then I will usually cut it out in like a card stock, like the t-shirt cardboard type stuff or something like that. And I'll tape it together and just see how the things are falling together in the pieces. And then I'll cut it out in, I'll tweak some stuff. Okay, I can move this over a little bit. Then I'll cut it out into the actual material. And by that time, I can see how things are actually going to fit together. If there's like tabs and slots, I got to make sure that they are lined up so that one wall might not be off by, raised up an eighth of an inch or something like that, because I, goofed up where it was lining up. And then for the smaller structures, after that initial one, I usually get most of the tweaks out of there. Then I'll start cutting it out and start painting it. And then when I do this official model that I'll end up using for the diorama, every step I take a picture. And I have a camera set up in the basement. And some steps I just use my iPhone and snap a couple of pictures. But most of the time I'll work on my bench, and then I'll go over to the camera setup, the little studio thing that I made up, and I have to take the picture and then bring it back up to the workbench, work on it some more, bring it back down, take a picture. So it is time consuming that way. And when I'm not in a rush, I'll write directions with each step, at least to just get the basic words down on paper. And then I'll go back and kind of tweak them a little bit. The kit for Sunrise, I started to write the directions, and then it was getting to be like a little bit of a time crunch for Timonium. I didn't have the complete model done, but I wanted to have something to show saying, okay, this is coming out soon. I want to kind of present it at the Timonium show. So about halfway through, I stopped writing the directions part, and I just would work on the model and snap pictures just to get it done, because it was a major time crunch. And then I went back and wrote the directions after the show was over. And that was kind of a pain, because some steps I was like, oh man, I wish I got a picture of this little angle or this, because then I had sometimes I'll make up a mock-up of a few of the pieces just so I can get one picture. And it does take some time.
Yeah, I would imagine. And there answers the question of why some of the kits are over $100 is because there's a lot of time involved to get it right. This is a thought I just had, and it may be a really bad idea. Maybe a really bad idea. I wonder, wouldn't it be cool, Bruce? Tell me if this is a really bad idea. I got a feeling it's a really bad idea.
Standing by.
It sounds like a great idea in my head, but I'm thinking when it comes out, it's going to be a really bad idea. How about if I had a podcast? Now, there's a bad idea. Wouldn't it be, I know your instructions are good because I've actually heard that from a couple of people. I wonder if it would be possible to put one of the sets of instructions on the website, like for skips or something like that, just to give people an idea of what they're going to get in the way of instructions.
It's not a bad idea. I've actually thought about that. One of the smaller kits, just to give a snippet of here's what it's like, to give them an idea of what the instructions look like.
Yeah,
a simple few pages of a PDF part of maybe even Paul's, just to show them.
Yeah. I'm just thinking that would be kind of cool, because you could kind of because I think that's a big part of it. Were you going to say something, Bruce?
No, it's a little snippet, a couple pages, so that it's enough that they can get interest, but not enough to build the kit on their own.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. Wow, it must be somebody else came up with it. All right, So that's it. So,
well, I'll just say one thing for those going to the big show. My models will be almost dead nuts in the center of the Better Living building, Area 47, Table C.
Wow.
So right there by scaletrains.com, just down from Model Railroad Hobbyist. A lot of interesting vendors right in your area, Ron. We wish you luck.
Yeah, I'm going to need it. It's going to be exciting.
You're not going to need it. You're doing fine.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. And when I come up to you, don't be like, "Hey, get away from me, kid." So, Bruce, we're putting this out on January the 17th. Are you actually going to go, or what's happening here?
I'll be there.
All right, you're not going to be like pulling a muscle or something.
I am going to lock myself in a room in a couple of weeks and not go anywhere to avoid everything.
What was that, Ron?
So get a big roll of bubble wrap and wrap yourself.
Yeah, my son has a bunch of that I can get them to have him wrap me in bubble wrap.
Yeah, I'll put you on top of the car.
Look like a
there you go.
Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, that would Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, exactly. So when will you set up? On Friday?
Yeah, I'll be coming up Friday, and then and going to probably dinner with somebody on Friday night, and then getting there early Saturday.
We had this great idea. What was it? Oh yeah, I had another great idea, but David Stark put the kibosh on it. I was going to, everybody, a bunch of the AML folks are going to go to George Celios's and see his layout. I was going to stay at the show on Friday and interview people, but David Stark says I can't. I have to go with him and his brother, because he's going to buy me lunch.
Barbecue,
there you go.
Yeah, I know. I think you're coming too, Bruce.
They have offered to drive me into George's, so hey. The Stark brothers and you and me, what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? All right. Bruce, can you give out our email address?
Yes, our email address is modelerslife, modelers with one L, modelerslife@gmail.com.
And we have a website, modelerslife.com. If you amodelerslife.com.
Yes, that has the A part in it.
Yeah, that has the A part in it. That's a whole long story, too. It's amodelerslife.com, and you can see listings of all our recent episodes and all kinds of other stuff. So, Ron, are you ready for the very end?
I sure hope so.
Okay. So remember, a Modeler's Life podcast is considered marginally adequate by 6 out of 10
New Kids on the Block craftsman kit structure makers.
Modeler's Life is sponsored by Because I Love Sushi, with 7 convenient locations in the greater Busted Knuckle area. Everyone knows that the best fish swim 200 miles inland.
It's another Lincoln Homer.